while, but we've had other things to do. But we're back. It's not like we're vanishing anytime soon from this platform or the internet in general, because we've got Instagram too. My Instagram, our Instagram combined, and the dog's Instagram, who is being a butt nut here.
Butt nut.
Yeah, butt nut. I gotta make it. So this week's video is things to know when you travel to Denmark, because I have experienced a lot of people online who are like, oh, I went to visit Denmark, but like,
they're so rude.
Oh, they're so rude, or this and that and this and that. So I just thought we should make a video about it, because I moved here in 2013. These would have been good things to know for me in general. So here's some things to know. First thing, we're not rude. We're not rude. We are not a rude sort of people, but we don't socialize with random people. Yeah. We're not the kind of person who just, we see a person sit next to a person on a train or a bus and go, oh, how's your day? Where you going? Where you going? Oh, we don't do that. We don't do that. And it's not that we are like, oh, we don't like people. No.
We're just reserved. Like,
Very
we
reserved.
Don't know you, so why are you asking to?
Yeah, why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
And in the U.S., for instance, we socialize a lot, and it's a lot of Americans that I've experienced that really think that we're rude because of this. And it's not that we're rude. It's just if you want to socialize with people, go to socializing places such as bars, parties, places where you would generally socialize with strangers or people you don't know.
Events, like social events, like we have festivals and such. Like, people are very open
then people are very talkative to other people when it comes to being at those things, concerts, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And sure, that means, but how do you meet new people? Then how do you talk to new people? Well, you might also meet someone in like in GameStop, for instance. When we had GameStop, you could talk to people in there and ask stuff like that, or
like if you go there on a regular basis and you see them on a fairly regular basis and go, so I've been seeing you around, now I'm curious.
Yeah, stuff like that. But otherwise, it's more of like, we don't talk to people, and we consider it rude when other people just start making small talk. Yeah. So it goes both ways. And of course, like, I think that's something like people don't know when they travel in general, because this isn't just Denmark where this is a thing. There are other countries in Europe where we're like, we don't socialize with strangers. We don't do that. And other people have also had the issue that, here's a number 2. We don't speak English. No, a lot of people speak English here. Yeah. A lot of people speak English here, especially in the touristy places, because you get tourists, and how else are you going to communicate with them if you don't speak English? But I will say, if you're going to look, if you need directions, if you need help, or you're looking for something, it doesn't matter. Look for a younger person. Yeah. And this even goes in the street. This is when people are okay with you going up, hey, I need directions. Anybody's willing to give it directions. Yeah. Even here, like when, random tourists come up to me and go, hey, I need directions to here. I'm like, that's no issue for me. No. But if you're going to come up and do some small talk, I'm like, that's weird. Please just give me. Please, and it's more because most people are not just out and about doing nothing, but they have places and goals and they need to do stuff. They're not just there to be out. So, directions or asking where something is, or hey, I don't know where this is, or I don't know where I can do this. Can you maybe help me out? Yeah. That's another thing. People are more than willing to help you with all of that kind of stuff. Especially when it comes to anybody who's visiting, whether it's small towns or larger towns. Yeah. But always aim for somebody that looks about under 40 years old. Yeah. Especially.
It is rare to find some
older generations who remember English or feel comfortable enough in their English to be willing to speak it with other people. So I would definitely recommend doing that. This English is very well-known language here. And it's definitely not an issue that people wouldn't know the language. I mean, there are people who've been scared to go to the doctor or hospitals here because, well, what if they don't speak English? No, we all speak English. All doctors speak English. Everybody
some of them, even like their education is in English.
Yeah. So it really just, you shouldn't be scared to go and ask somebody for that kind of stuff, because as long as you look for somebody maybe around our age or a little older or even younger, they all speak English. They might not speak as well English as Summer and I, but they do speak English enough that they can communicate with you or something else. Dogs being problematic in the background. Number 3. I almost put 2. 3.
You can
3. 3. All the different types of ways of making 3 with my fingers. Well, I'd say go visit smaller towns.
Yeah.
Copenhagen here. It's a big tourist town. That town is well known, and it is made and literally everything for... Alright. Can you go no? No. 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 Go no. Go no. Go no. If you're gonna be problematic in a video, we don't want you there. Go entertain camera boy. But no, go to smaller towns. Even our town that has a decent amount of tourism. It's not really a tourist town, and it's not really got like big well-known stores. With that, you also gotta remember that like not every country has the same things.
No.
Like some people are like, I'm surprised you guys don't have this. Well, no, we're a whole different country with different foods and different snacks and different chip companies, different candy companies, different, I don't know, everything. Food is so different. So yeah, sure, it's terrifying to not maybe go to McDonald's and get a hamburger, a cheeseburger, or a Happy Meal that you're so used to getting. But go and find a restaurant or look for places to go and get food that is more traditional or more known to be Danish.
Yeah.
Or this goes for any country to me. Look into it. Look into the countries you visit, because I know plenty of people are like, I want to visit. Like, I want to visit Japan or I want to visit Iceland. But I'm definitely going to do a hefty amount of research to know where to go and get some traditional foods, where to go and get this kind of stuff, where to not get ripped off with my money. Copenhagen is expensive. People constantly complain about the prices within Copenhagen. And I'm like, yeah, you're in a big tourist town. They're trying to make money. They want to make money. Really big touristy places world round are expensive. And it's because tourists. So, especially here in Denmark, we have trains, we have buses. And Google Translate is a thing.
Yeah.
Google Translate with pictures. You can literally translate anything you need. And even if you can't, like you go to a restaurant and they don't speak English, translate the menu with your phone. Don't let that scare you off. And just point. Point at what you want. They're not going to be upset. They're more than happy. Usually they're actually upset that they can't help you because they're like, well, we'd love to help you, but we don't know how to communicate with you. Google Translate's your best friend.
Yeah.
In 90% of countries, the Danish translator to English translator and vice versa. Decently accurate. I would not say completely accurate, but it gives you a good basic gist of what you're trying to look into.
Yeah.
But I would say definitely try traditional foods. Here, pastries are a very well-known thing. Go to a Danish bakery. Go and experience real Danish food and Danish pastries. Because technically, I guess pastries aren't really food, but just try it. Enjoy it. And yeah, sure, we don't have the exact same things as what you might have in your own country, but it's delicious nonetheless. Or look into what's culturally, like, really big here. Licorice is really big here. That doesn't mean you're going to enjoy it. You don't have to like licorice, but that's a big well-known thing here. We also have marzipan. Like, majority of people like marzipan, apparently. I don't. She does. I hate it. I think it's nasty.
It's so good.
I think it's something you have to grow up on. I didn't grow up on marzipan, so obviously I probably don't like it as much. She did, so you can see that, but still give it a try. Worst comes to worst, you find something you don't like, but hey, you tried something new. When you go to countries, try something that's more their food. Yeah. I think I made that mistake when I would go to France or any other country. I didn't really try their traditional food because it's a little out of my comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. Try their foods. Yeah. They're well known for this kind of stuff for a reason.
Yeah, or you know, if you are in a restaurant, go, do you have something similar to this?
Yeah.
So you're still sort of within your comfort zone, but you're.
But don't just get a burger.
Yeah.
Don't just get a burger.
Every place has a burger. Everywhere has a burger.
Every country has a burger of some sort, or a burger restaurant, or your big chain ones like McDonald's or Burger King. We have those places. I think we have four. I want to say 4. I think there's less. Maybe, I don't know, KFCs in Denmark.
Yeah.
And we don't have the same thing. We don't have the same things. We have a Dunkin' Donuts in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
They don't have the same things as the Dunkin' Donuts in England. They don't have the same stuff as the one in The U.S. I've been to, and I think it also varies per location in the U.S. as to what they have. So,
but that's also another thing to remember. Not every single town has a Starbucks. Not every single town has 5 McDonald's right around the corner. The nearest McDonald's, McDonald's. Starbucks to us is what, 2.5 hours away?
Yeah, but we have these public transport options, so you can just travel to a smaller town. Go to smaller towns. You're going to see so much more of the actual culture of the country when you go to these smaller towns. Yeah. Because I went to France. I went to Paris. That just reminded me of Copenhagen. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. The busy streets, busy life, very noisy town. It's very
much just the same.
They didn't really give me an insight as to what France would have been like if I went to a smaller town. And I did. I went to Alsace, I think it's called in English. I don't know. I knew the Danish word at some point, but Alsace, which is, I think, about half an hour from Switzerland, the border of Switzerland. And there you got a lot more of their nature, mountains. You got a lot more of how they were. It was still a tourist spot because we lived in one of those, like, tourist housing situations of, like, where you rent out these little mobile home kind of things that are, and they, of course, make it very child-friendly. So you got water parks, you've got kids events, but even with that, you got to see all the cool architecture. And we have some really cool architecture in Denmark. We have some of the weirdest shaped buildings, but it really takes you to get out of those big touristy towns. Yeah. And if you want to see more of the culture of Denmark, and you still want to be within a big town where you don't feel uncomfortable with, you might not be able to find as many people or be able to understand everything, especially because different language. We don't speak, nothing's in English here. Everything's in Danish. Go to bigger towns still. We've got Vejle, we've got Aarhus, these are 2 towns that I know that are pretty big. They still, you can still see so much of the Danish culture in those towns. Whereas Copenhagen, I feel like, loses a lot of that because it's so international and geared towards tourists. Yeah. I mean, our town. Our town is also, like, it's geared towards German tourists. Yeah. But we're still very Danish here. There's a lot of Danish food that we buy here. I mean, I think it might be harder in Copenhagen, but if you do your research, you might be able to find something. Yeah. Might be lucky. I don't know too much about Copenhagen, aside from the fact that it's big. and it's tourist. And it's really expensive. Yeah. And none of that should scare you off, but I definitely say if you have 2 days, 3 days in a country, make 1 day and travel. Yeah. Trains, the people at those train stations generally also speak English. They will be able to help you. Yeah. Buy a ticket, get where you need to go to be able to get you out and about, and it's cheaper. If price is one of the things that scares you away from visiting big, like, even small countries, but the capitals of countries and stuff, well, it's because they're tourist-based. The prices went down once I left Paris, so I can definitely say that the prices are a lot cheaper once you just leave. Just get out of the town. Camera Boy had a thought that not everybody here is okay with you talking to their dog. Some places I've been, you just kind of walk up and talk to a dog. Yeah. Like, if the dog seems interested in you and whatever, you just kind of walk up. You just walk or you just see somebody with a dog and some people just walk up. Yeah. No, we ask here. Whether that's in English, whether that's in German, or in Danish. You just ask. Yeah. And sometimes they don't know what you're saying because they're older or whatever, and you just kind of point at the dog and they'll either shake their head yes or no. I've seen this happen with plenty of people who don't speak German, and this German child, especially with children, because they like dogs and they want to say hi to the dogs, of course. Yeah. They didn't understand, but the person was trying so hard to speak German to this Dane who did not speak German, and we could see that there was a big communication error going on, but we knew what the kid wanted. They just wanted to say hi to the dog. So they were just pointing at the dog, pointed at the kid, wanting to, just... Kid wants to say hi to them. And that's fine. Here it's more for us in our town specifically. It's just if the dog looks interested, is like trying to get over to you, there's no issue.
No.
Then it's usually the owner looks at you to see if you're interested in saying hi to the dog.
Yeah.
Or if they should be pulling their dog away. We're very animal oriented, as you see. We have a cat in the window, sleeping in the window,
there.
and a dog. So I don't mind that people want to come up and say hi to dogs, or that we have people who want to say hi to our dog. But don't just approach the dog.
No.
Do not do that. Some places that's okay. I have never really encountered that. Where I lived in the U.S. in a small town, I was able to just kind of walk up and waddle up and just say hi to a dog if I desired. But here, of course, we're also, it's more seen as, this is my dog. Technically property. It's an animal, but property regardless. Thus, not everybody's open to the idea that somebody's just walking up. Because you also don't know if the dog's got issues with other people. We have no violent dogs, so you don't have to worry about that one. But there are some dogs who they get scared. And they get horrified around, and so they're still training. So some people are like, hey, would you like to say hi to my dog? We're training the dog. That also happened. We have that with BMO. BMO was still in training. She's been in training for a long time. She still has issues with some size of dog. She doesn't get aggressive, she just gets scared. Terrified. Especially if she's on a leash, because she feels she can't get away.
Yeah, she's
and
cornered,
that's fine.
She can't move.
Even though she's got 2 meters on a leash. And that is what it is.
Yeah.
But definitely it's just a mannerism thing. There is huge difference in mannerism here compared to, I'm going to compare it to the US because I lived there, so I remember some of this. And I get that because in the grocery stores, you just kind of go, you're stood in line and you're just small talking.
Hey, how's your day going?
We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do that. You're stood in line. People don't talk to each other unless you're stood in line with somebody else. Like, her and I stood in line together. We talk to each other.
Yeah.
But we don't talk to the people behind us, and we don't talk to the people in front of us. We just, we don't really do small talk with the cashiers. We don't do that. It's just, hey, they scan your stuff, they tell you the price, and then you pay, and they ask if you want a receipt. And if you say no, they don't give you a receipt. They tell you to have a good day or a good weekend.
Yeah.
That's it. And then that's the limit of our talk with, and that has, another big thing here. I almost forgot to mention, we don't tip.
No.
Tipping is not a thing. And tipping in most countries is not a thing, actually.
No.
Now that I should say that right now. Tipping in most countries is not a thing. From what I know, it is in England still. But majority of countries worldwide don't tip. That's not a thing.
No.
Here, like I've been told, if you're in Japan, they'll run after you.
Yeah, they will go after you with your money, thinking that you left it or something.
Yeah, and same goes here. If you leave money, they're just gonna look at it and not know what to do with it.
Even in American style restaurants that we have, like,
tip isn't a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing. You don't tip.
No.
And it's not because we don't appreciate what they do. It's not that we don't. Because a lot of people are like, but isn't that rude? It's like, no. We have a good minimum wage. In the sense that it is livable. It is not $12 or $15, whatever the minimum wage is nowadays in the US. It's not that. Because I'm going to compare that one to the US because that is where I know tipping is mainly based.
Yeah.
From what I know, they also do it in England. I don't remember. Haven't been there in a while, so I don't remember if my dad would tip or not, but I think it's here we have such a high minimum wage that we don't generally tip.
No. So like even for those who are under 18,
they still
work.
They don't get what would be considered a livable because they would be still considered living at home.
Yeah, they're students. They're still considered living at home, or they get isu, so student money. Student money,
and then with that student money, you have a specific amount of money you can earn on the side.
Yeah.
Before that money gets
taken away
or lowered.
Yeah.
So that it equals. So you've worked 2,000 too much. They'll take 2,000 out of your student money. So, I mean, it works both ways. But otherwise, what else? I'm trying to think of what else is good to know here. We're open people in the sense that we talk about every sort of... There's nothing that I would consider a topic that is off limits except religion.
Yeah.
We don't talk about religion. It is not talked about in the workplace. It is not talked about generally in public, you don't talk to other people about religion. You keep religion to yourself. And that is not we're not happy that it's not that we're against religion. It's more,
it's a personal thing.
Religion for everybody is something different.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own religion. We talk about politics openly in the sense that conservatives and very progressive people can sit and have a conversation with each other, and it's not weird.
No.
And it's actually something that's very normal. You talk about politics a lot. You can talk about puberty. You can talk about sex. You can talk about nudity. You can talk about any sort of subject that might be considered taboo in other countries. But religion is a off-the-table sort of subject. It is something you can talk to your friends about or somebody you know well. But even then, it's still like a gray area for some people. Like, if you're religious, that's great. But when we talk about religion, it's not we don't want to put anybody on a platter or a plate or pressure people. It's to be respectful of that person's religion or other people's religion, whether you are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, and what type you are within that, because of course there's many different kinds of Christianity.
And how extreme you are with it, and
how lax you are with it. It really differs, but it's definitely a off the table sort of, you don't talk to people about it.
You might have a friend or a classmate or something that is a certain religion, like then you can go, hey, how exactly is it this works about your religion?
I've asked questions that I was curious. I was like, oh, you're this, but you don't observe or practice this. Is there a reason behind it? Because I'm curious. And of course, it was not something I asked when I barely knew the person. I got to know them first. It was something where you really, we don't have people who are on the streets handing out flyers. We don't have
going, oh, if you're not Christian, you're gonna go to hell,
or whatever it is. We don't have those.
No.
Because we have so many different religions here that is considered disrespectful. Yeah. This is a way of being respectful to other religions. And of course there are people who still do it. But it's not good.
And then it's usually people from other countries coming here and doing it. We had an instance a few years ago of some people that were traveling around the world and
missionaries, I think they're called. Missionaries? Mission people? I don't remember. I should remember. Yeah. Grew up in that stuff, so I should remember.
But no, you could just see everybody like around them was just like...
They would get kicked out of stores. They'd get kicked out of shopping malls or whatever because it's not an okay topic for, or are you this religion? But they also did it in a very bad manner. They were putting people down. Here we have who are the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. They used to be allowed to go knock door to door and hey, you got a moment? Now they're not allowed to do that. And they were the only church in Denmark that would go door to door.
Go on and do that, yeah.
So they're no longer allowed to do that. What they can do is we have a stand, we have one in town.
Yeah.
It's a little pamphlet stand that has a bunch of pamphlets for people. And then they have one or two people, usually two, stood next to it. But they're not allowed to interact with people walking past.
No.
They can only interact if a person comes and interacts with them.
Yeah.
And that is just so it doesn't feel like it's a forced upon sort of situation.
Yeah. Sometimes in the mail we get these little booklet things from churches around town, but that's more because then they have events and what events they have at what times, and it's more just you're more than welcome to show up if you want.
And not all of it's a religious thing. No. Some of it's just like, hey, we're having a church event, or oh, it's Christmas time, so a lot of people do. That is like the one time a year that majority of Danes go to church.
Yeah,
is
and I think
Christmas
Easter.
Eve. Is it Christmas Eve? I don't remember. I think so. Christmas Eve. Yeah, we're just gonna go with that. Christmas Eve, we go to church.
Yeah.
And you'll get this little pamphlet that tells you the itinerary and what they're doing and when they're doing it and what kid activities they've got going on and all this kinds of stuff. And the churches also help with giving lower income families and when I say low income, I don't mean like struggling, like just making ends meet. I mean a little bit lower than that. Yeah. And especially with people who have kids, the churches will give them presents and food for people, low-income families specifically. Let's state that, because we fit under all the regulations of it, except we don't have kids. We don't have kids. We have fur kids, but we don't have actual human
children,
flesh kids. So we don't fit under it, but we still are able to make ends meet. But Christmas is a very expensive time. So the churches, regardless of even if you're a part of the church or if you're of their religion, they still help families, and they still help immigrant families get presents, food, whatever, to the kids and to the family, so they can celebrate Christmas or whatever they might celebrate at that time. Not everybody celebrates Christmas, of course, but they have the offer to go and apply for it, and they can get free stuff given by the community to help those lower income families. And that's also what we get in the mail. We don't get, like, I don't know,
come join us now.
Yeah, we don't get that kind of stuff. It's not allowed. Because religion is a personal thing. It's something you observe yourself. It's not something we pressure on other people. It's not something we want to discuss. Some people are open about it. Some people are not. It's very a gray area. So I would refrain from the subject. Yeah. At all costs, just refrain from the subject. But yeah, no, you're gonna see a lot of open topics about sex, especially. Yeah. We have no limits with that one. No limits whatsoever. It's that's a free reign. It's an open
free real estate.
Yeah, you can talk, because we've got posters everywhere about safe sex, STDs, HIV, AIDS. We've got sex stores. They're not discreet. They're everywhere. There's billboards. There's giant buildings with all of it on it. Yeah. It's not, and it's something that kids see. It's something we're desensitized to, but it can be very alarming for other people. Like, the first time I saw some of it, I was like, holy, okay, it's not what I was expecting. But it's not something that off-put me. I think it's a great thing to be able to openly talk about condoms, safe sex, pregnancy, whatever. Things that aren't normally talked about in other countries. I think it's great that we here can just kind of openly talk about all that kind of stuff. Like, it's normal. It's normal. This is a normal conversation you have. What I'm trying to think of other things. Yeah, I think that would be it.
For now, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have tax. In the sense that when you buy an item and it says it is 10 kroner, let's go with that. It is 10 kroner. You do not add anything on top.
The price you see is the price you get.
Yeah, the price you pay.
The price you pay, yeah.
And that's it.
There's so nice.
Nothing that you need to think about. No. So if you've got 20 kroner and the thing you need to buy is 20 kroner, you have enough money. Yep. You don't need to worry about it. You just have to worry about that.
Even with bottles and pence, like, you know, we can go and deliver empty bottles. Even then,
I forgot about that one. That we have bottles, and each one has, or majority, I would say, like 99% of bottles, glass, plastic, and cans, have an A, B, and a C on the side. And that, technically, I guess you consider it tax. It is, I guess. You pay an extra 1.5 to 3 kroner on top, depending on the marking on the bottle. It also then varies on the size. So the bigger the bottle, the more the 3 kroner you would pay.
But even then, like, you see those 1.5 to 3 kroner, that is still added onto the price. So you don't have to look at the price and go, oh, what is it for this size of bottle? Like, you don't have to.
No.
It's just there.
And then you always get your money back. It's a way to encourage recycling. Bottles, so you recycle your bottles. Remember to take them back. Yeah. And
leave the
label. They need to be able to scan the barcode. Yeah. That you would scan in a store. If you take that off, you can no longer return that bottle. No. Which means you wasted.
Sure, you can, but you just don't get money for it.
Yeah. You can still return
recycling, but
but as they say here, the more pent money you have, as we call it, pent, the better your party was. Yeah. The higher the price of what you paid,
and it's a great way if you're running out of money at the end of the month. Save all of your bottles and cans, and then if you need something and you don't have quite enough money, you can just go deliver some bottles, and there you go.
Literally though, like, we do that. We have like a collection. We don't ever take the pen until like
we need something.
First off, unless it's like overflowing, like, because, you know, sometimes it's been like 8 months and we haven't turned in any of our pen. And sometimes it's like, oh, well, I want to go and have this, but we've used all our food money for the month. Yeah. So this is our way to get a treat. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all I can say for right now of things to know if you visit Denmark. We can make one about what to know if you move to Denmark. Because I moved here when I was 14. I was 14. Had to think about that one. When I was 14. And I've got some good thoughts on what to know if you move here. Because, yeah, it's a bit different if you just move from the US to Denmark. There's a huge difference. I will say that. Like, you know, huge difference. It's not, yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. And I hope you come and visit Denmark. Like, Denmark is really enjoyable to visit. And if you guys have any other questions, leave them down in the comments and we will absolutely answer any other questions about Denmark, or if you just generally have questions concerning the European continent, we usually have a decent amount of information about that. But sometimes it helps to ask rather than to Google it, because Google isn't always going to be able to help.
Google gives you about 50 different answers.
Yeah, so if you need answers and you don't know where to get them, ask us. We are more than welcome to help, especially if you're visiting Denmark. We can give you good, maybe we should do that. We'll make a series and go, here's some good places to check out. And most people will be coming to Copenhagen, so we'll make sure it's within that area of where to get traditional food, where to get traditional pastries, where to get, you know, where to get more authentic Danish.
Yeah, and reasonable prices.
Reasonable prices is going to be hard. I can't help that one, but
try at least.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But yeah, no, if you have questions, please let us know. We'll answer in a reasonable time frame. If anything, we can also make a video about it. I think you might not just be you who wants to know those answers. So don't be the quiet one in the class who doesn't want to ask the question, because there might be other people who have asked this question. But these were the things that came to my mind because of what I've heard from other people, of what they were like, but Denmark, it was so weird to be there. And well, it is different.
Cultural difference.
You know, if I go and travel to Japan, I don't expect it to be like Denmark culturally, or like the US or England or France. So yeah, so we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.